Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, and today I want to talk about Light No Fire. Because holy crap, this came out of nowhere and completely blindsided me, and I am super happy about that. So during the Game Awards, Sean Murray from Hello Games came out and let us all see what the team has been working on outside of No Man's Sky. And I am blown away, because what little bit we've got to see so far looks extremely promising. Now, he did say, unlike No Man's Sky, where they focused on making an entire universe, this game, they doubled down and focused on making an entire planet. A planet that is more realistic than, say, the planets in No Man's Sky. Like, even looking at that mountain range off in the background, it is freaking huge. Not to mention all the little things here and there. The only thing that I'm slightly, even remotely worried about is how often you'll find any civilization. You know, any cities, that sort of thing. Because that is one area where No Man's Sky kind of dropped the ball a little bit. There really wasn't enough civilization in the universe. I mean, you had space stations, you had spaceports, that sort of thing. But it really needed a lot more cities. It needed to feel a little bit more lived in. But that's my personal opinion. Now this game, however, oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a lot to go over from this trailer, and I'm going to try to break as much down that caught my eye as humanly possible. But I think they have a solid foundation to build from. Now, as for all the little bits that were snuck into the video, there's a lot. Especially when they like to flash through different scenes really quickly. The first thing of note would be the sphere from the very beginning of the video. When we get a little bit closer to it, we can see there's a hole in it, so I don't know if maybe you could fly in through there. Not 100% certain what the sphere is going to be, but we do get to see another sphere during the trailer. This one, towards the end. So you have to wonder if there's just going to be these spheres all over the world. What are these going to be? Are these like dungeons? Because not only is there the sphere, they also showed a cube. And the cube was really fascinating because if you look closely at it, you can see these streams coming out of one of the holes in the side of it. So if this is a dungeon, I am super stoked to go check that out. Of course, as for things to go explore, we did get to see a little bit of ruins with the skeletons and whatnot. As for some enemies, for a brief little flash, we got to see a giant crab and some smaller crabs. And, well, it's a little bit blurry. You can see a couple people running off to fight the big crab. We also got a brief glimpse at hunting in the game, where it looks like they're hunting some variation of possibly a boar, something like that. But it makes you wonder, is food actually going to be a necessity, or is this something to get crafting supplies off of them? Of course, we also got a brief little view underwater. Big thing there, there's a sunken ship. I really want to know what's inside of it, if anything. Of course, there's also a giant friggin' octopus right beside it. Now, this part right here I loved, because everybody probably focused on the giant for the most part, but if you had looked off to the left, there's these little shadow creatures that have like tentacles, it looks like. And they're not only off to the side, they're also up in front of like where they're heading. And then of course we've got plenty of flying creatures for you to get around on. One thing that did catch my eye was them flying during a thunderstorm, and I really want to know, could you get struck by lightning while flying through it? Are you going to have to worry about turbulence, that sort of thing? Because that would really take things to another level. And we already know from No Man's Sky that Hello Games is not afraid to make some super scary weather. Oh man, I'm hype. Then of course, there are various birds that you can get around on. I think this one might be about one of my favorites, mostly because this screen grab from one of the flashes I absolutely love. I love this image. I don't know why, I freaking love it. and now I want to fly around on one of those friggin' birds. Now, one of the key things while they were flying around that I'm sure everybody wants to know about is the floating island. Is this going to be similar to, say, like a spaceport, something like that? Or is that something more? Or could it be like a player home type of thing? I don't know. Of course, we've also got ships in the game, which is really freaking cool. That does look a little bit like the sunken ship from earlier, at least similar in design. Now, outside of that, one thing that really caught my eye is when they were chopping down the tree, you've got a guy carrying a log off to the left, but you can also see little bits of log on the ground right on our side of the tree, just laying around. And then we got another guy right here carrying a log, and this is really reminiscent to me of, say, the game Grounded, where you have to carry certain supplies over your shoulder to wherever you're going. Now, I left this one in just to make a note of there are little houses everywhere. There's a little house on the island, far side of the lake, off to the right side. Houses everywhere. Now, another really cool thing during one of the flashes was the glider. Holy crap. There's so many little things that I can't wait to try out down the road. Then, of course, we also have mounts. Now, we only really got to see one of the ground type of mounts that you could ride around on. But you know there's going to be way, way more than that. Now, this is one thing that really, really gave me hope was this part of the video. Because like I said, one of my fears was going to be that, maybe there's not cities and that sort of thing. And this gives me some hope that maybe there will be some cities. I don't know how big they will be, but hopefully we see an abundance that really helps bring the world to life. Now, as for the different people that you could play as, of course, we've seen some of them, but I did notice this towards the end, and this looks to be more of a canine, possibly wolf type of creature. So that's pretty freaking cool. And then, of course, there's the more rabbit type creature. Couldn't really make out the other two from right here, though. But hey, at least we know a couple. Now, as I'm letting this play through again, there's something I want you to try to pay attention to, and it's going to be in the bottom left. So, part of your HUD, but there's a little white spot right above it, and that tells you what biome you're in. I've watched this trailer so many times now, it's ridiculous. But you could see as you went from underwater to above water that it changed, and then as the video continues on from time to time, when you see a change, you look at it, you will see that that emblem changes to something else. And the only reasonable explanation I have is that tells you what biome you're in. And then, of course, you also have a bar right there for hot and cold, which leads me to believe that much like, having to worry about horrible weather and that sort of thing in No Man's Sky, we actually get to worry about temperatures in this one. So we may need certain gear for certain climates, basically. Pretty simple stuff for, say, a survival game. And there's that... Oh, there's so much cool stuff. Oh, and again, see, off to the left, the little shadow people? Yeah. I don't know. There's just so much going on here that... I don't know. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, I tell you what. I really want to know what you all are thinking about this. Please hop down in the comments and let me know that I'm not the only person that's just ridiculously overhyped about something that I have no idea when it's coming. But I am super excited for it, because if anybody's going to do this right, it's going to be Hello Games. They hands down have one of the best comeback stories with No Man's Sky, and they can only build off of that. But that's going to wrap this one up. Hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.